The massive screen in Earth's Global Defense Command Center flashed red as an unknown object emerged from hyperspace just beyond Mars' orbit. Admiral James Stone stood calmly, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he watched the situation unfold. After 30 years of preparation, first contact had finally arrived. "Unknown vessel approaching, sir," reported Officer Mark from his station. "It's big, about twice the size of our largest ships." Admiral Stone nodded, his gray eyes fixed on the screen. Earth had known this day would come. For decades, they had secretly monitored alien communications, preparing defenses, and developing technologies while appearing to be just another primitive world. "Open all channels," Stone ordered. "Let's see what they want." The alien ship, sleek and silver against the black of space, slowed as it approached the red planet. Its design showed advanced engineering, smooth curves, and pulsing blue engines that seemed to bend space itself. The communication system crackled to life. A deep voice spoke in perfect English. "Greetings, planet Earth. We represent the Grand Galactic Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds. We have come to welcome you into our civilization." Stone exchanged glances with his second-in-command, Captain Bill Ryan. They had expected this. The Empire's pattern was always the same. First contact, then diplomatic pressure, and finally forced integration. "This is Admiral James Stone of the United Earth Defense Force. We welcome peaceful communication with your empire." Stone's voice remained steady and professional. The alien response came quickly. "We are pleased by your quick adaptation to our language. Our analysis shows your world has achieved basic space travel and early AI development. You qualify for Imperial membership. Prepare to receive our diplomatic vessel." Stone allowed himself a small smile. The aliens had severely underestimated Earth's capabilities. Humanity had already colonized Mars, developed quantum computing, and created defense systems that could rival any in the galaxy, all while maintaining a carefully crafted appearance of being less advanced. "We appreciate your offer," Stone replied. "However, we must first understand the terms of this membership." The alien voice became slightly less friendly. "The Empire provides protection, technology, and trade opportunities. In return, member worlds supply resources and accept Imperial guidance. This is non-negotiable. Resistance would be unfortunate." The threat was clear. Stone pressed a button on his console, activating Earth's hidden satellite network. Thousands of advanced sensors came online, gathering data about the Imperial ship. "Fascinating technology they have," muttered Dr. Wilson, the chief scientist, looking at the incoming data. "But nothing we haven't seen before through our monitoring stations." Stone stepped forward. It was time to show their hand, just a little. "Imperial vessel, we've detected your scan attempts of our planet. Please be advised that such actions without permission violate Earth's sovereignty." There was a long pause. When the alien voice returned, it carried a note of surprise. "Your defensive capabilities are unexpected. Nevertheless, the Empire's invitation stands. You have 24 Earth hours to accept. After that, we will be forced to take diplomatic action." "Sir," Captain Ryan whispered, "they're charging weapons systems. Low level, but definitely active." Stone straightened his uniform. "Imperial vessel, let me be clear. Earth acknowledges your Empire's power and influence. However, we choose to remain independent. Any hostile action will be met with appropriate response." "You don't understand, Admiral." The alien voice hardened. "The Empire does not take rejection well. Perhaps a demonstration." "No," Stone interrupted. "You don't understand. We've been watching your Empire for decades. We know your methods. This is your only warning. Earth is off limits." The alien ship's engines flared. "This is not over, Admiral. The Empire will return." "We'll be ready," Stone murmured as the ship turned and vanished into hyperspace. He turned to his crew, their faces a mix of tension and pride. "Send word to all Earth defense stations. full alert status, and contact the Mars colonies. It's time to activate the outer system defenses. As his crew rushed to their duties, Stone looked at the now empty screen. Humanity had survived world wars, environmental disasters, and countless other challenges. They had unified and grown stronger. The Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive world of easy targets. They were about to learn how wrong they were. 3 days after the Imperial scout ship's departure, Earth's orbital sensors detected 5 large vessels entering the solar system. Ambassador Thomas Reed watched from the newly completed Space Diplomatic Center as the Imperial ships approached Earth's orbit. Unlike the scout ship, these vessels were decorated with golden symbols, clearly meant to impress. "They sent their best diplomatic ship," said Peter White, Earth's chief intelligence officer, pointing to the largest vessel. "The same one they used to convince the Centauri systems to join them." Reed adjusted his simple black suit. At 60 years old, he had spent the last 20 years studying Imperial diplomatic tactics. And how long did the Centauri last before becoming mining colonies? 3 months, Peter replied, checking his tablet. "They're hailing us now." The main screen lit up, showing a tall figure in elaborate purple robes. "I am High Negotiator Lord Maxwell of the Grand Galactic Empire. We come in peace to discuss Earth's integration into our glorious civilization." Ambassador Reed stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth, High Negotiator. I am Ambassador Thomas Reed. We accept your request for diplomatic talks." The Imperial ships were directed to dock at the Space Diplomatic Center, a massive station that appeared simple on the outside but contained some of humanity's most advanced technology. Reed waited in the main conference room, a circular chamber with Earth's continents projected on the ceiling. Lord Maxwell entered with 4 other aliens, each wearing different colored robes. They carried themselves with obvious superiority, barely glancing at the human staff. "Please be seated," Reed gestured to the round table. "Would you like refreshments?" "We prefer to begin negotiations immediately," Maxwell stated. "Our terms are generous. Earth will receive Imperial protection, access to our trade networks, and limited technology sharing. In return, you will provide resources and accept Imperial guidance." Reed smiled politely. "Before we discuss terms, I believe we should address certain concerns." He pressed a button on the table. A holographic display appeared, showing various star systems. "These are Imperial mining worlds," Reed continued, "former independent planets that joined your empire. Our data shows their populations have decreased by 60% in the last decade. Their resources are nearly depleted." Maxwell's face darkened. "How did you obtain this information?" "Earth has been monitoring Imperial communications for 40 years, Reed replied calmly. "We know about the forced labor camps in the Orion sector, the suppressed rebellions in the outer systems, the planet stripped of resources and abandoned." "Impossible," one of Maxwell's aides shouted. "Your technology isn't advanced enough." Reed pressed another button. New holograms appeared, showing Imperial military movements, secret mining operations, and diplomatic records. "We've had quantum decryption systems for decades. We chose to appear less advanced while learning everything about your empire." Lord Maxwell stood up, his robes swirling. "This is an outrage. You dare spy on the empire." "We dare to protect ourselves," Reed responded, remaining seated. "And now, let me present Earth's terms. The Empire will stay out of the solar system. All Imperial ships are banned from entering our space. You cannot make demands of the Empire." Maxwell's voice boomed. "We have thousands of warships. And we have something better." Reed nodded to Peter, who activated another display. "This is live footage from your homeworld's capital. Your secret military bases, your private estates. We have eyes everywhere. Lord Maxwell." The color drained from Maxwell's face. This is a demonstration," Reed finished. "Earth doesn't want war. We simply want to be left alone. Consider this a legal notice. The solar system is hereby closed to Imperial vessels. The Emperor will never accept this. Maxwell sputtered. Reed stood slowly. Then the Emperor should know that the next data packet we release will show how his officials have been stealing from Imperial treasuries. We have proof of everything, Lord Maxwell. Everything. The Imperial delegation left the station within an hour, their grand ships no longer looking so impressive. Reed watched them depart from the observation deck. "They'll be back," Peter said quietly. "Yes," Reed agreed. "But now they know we're not helpless primitives. And next time," he looked at the departing ships with determined eyes. "Next time, we'll show them what humanity can really do." As the Imperial ships vanished into hyperspace, Earth's hidden defense platforms powered up, ready for whatever would come next. The real test was just beginning. The Empire's response came exactly 1 week later, not with diplomats this time, but with 30 massive warships emerging from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Dr. Maria Ross stood in Earth's Defense Command Center, her white lab coat standing out among the military uniforms. She had spent 15 years developing Earth's quantum shield technology, and now it was time to use it. Imperial fleet approaching Jupiter's orbit. Officer Mark announced. "They're in attack formation." Admiral Stone nodded to Dr. Ross. "Time to show them our surprise, Doctor." Maria stepped to her console, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. Quantum shield grid powering up. All stations report ready. The Imperial Fleet's commander appeared on the main screen, wearing a black uniform decorated with red symbols of rank. "This is Fleet Commander Harris of the Imperial Forces. Your defiance ends today. Surrender or face destruction." Admiral Stone smiled slightly. "This is Earth Defense Command. You are in violation of our space. Leave immediately." "You had your chance for peace," Harris growled. "Open fire." The Imperial ships launched their attack. Bright energy beams streaked toward Earth, but stopped suddenly at the edge of the planet's orbit, dispersing into harmless light. "Quantum shields holding perfectly," Maria reported, watching her readings. "Energy weapons at 0 penetration." Commander Harris's face showed confusion. "Impossible." Launch missiles. Hundreds of missiles raced toward Earth. They too stopped at the shield barrier, exploding in a spectacular but harmless display. "Should we show them Phase 2? Captain Ryan asked. Admiral Stone nodded. "Dr. Ross, you may proceed." Maria pressed a sequence of buttons, activating quantum disruption field. Suddenly, all 30 Imperial ships went dark. Their engines died, and they started drifting in space. What have you done?" Commander Harris demanded, his ship's emergency lights casting red shadows on his face. "We've disabled your power systems," Maria explained, stepping into view. "Your ships are now running on emergency backup only. No weapons, no shields, and most importantly," she paused, "no way to enter hyperspace. This is advanced technology." Harris shouted, "You're supposed to be primitives." "We let you think that," Stone replied calmly. "While you were busy conquering weaker worlds, Earth was preparing. We studied your ships, your weapons, your tactics. Then we built better ones." Maria watched her displays as data poured in. "Sir, their backup systems will fail in 6 hours. They'll lose life support." Stone addressed the Imperial commander again. "You have a choice, Commander. Retreat now using your backup power, or stay and watch your ships become lifeless shells. Either way, you've seen what challenging Earth means." Harris's face twisted with rage. "The Empire will not forget this." "Good," Stone replied. "Remember it well. Earth is off limits." They watched as the Imperial fleet slowly turned around, limping away on minimal power. Maria's quantum field followed them to the edge of the solar system, ensuring they couldn't regain full power until they were far from Earth. "Message from Mars Colony, sir," Officer Mark reported. "They're tracking the Imperial fleet. All ships are leaving the solar system." Maria looked at her life's work displayed on the screens around her. The quantum shield had performed perfectly, but she knew this was just the beginning. "They'll analyze what happened," she said. "Try to find a way around our defenses." "Let them try," Stone replied. "We've got more surprises ready." Captain Ryan approached with a datapad. "Sir, we're getting signals from several outer rim worlds. They saw what happened. They want to know how we did it." Stone turned to Maria. "Doctor, how would you like to help some other worlds defend themselves?" Maria smiled, already thinking of how to adapt her technology for other planets. "I'd like that very much, Admiral." As they began planning their next moves, the quantum shield continued its silent watch around Earth. The Empire had just learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the quietest worlds have the sharpest teeth, and Earth was done being quiet. News travels fast, even in space. Within days of Earth's victory over the Imperial fleet, Captain Robert West found himself piloting Earth's most advanced stealth ship toward the outer rim worlds. His mission: to contact those who wanted freedom from the Empire. "Another transmission coming in," reported First Officer Jack Miller, looking at the communications panel. "That's the 5th planet asking for help this week." Robert checked their ship's cloaking system. The Shadow Runner was invisible to Imperial sensors, thanks to Earth's advanced technology. They had been traveling between star systems for 2 weeks, meeting with resistance leaders. "Which world is it this time?" Robert asked, adjusting their course. "Mining colony on planet Blue Star," Jack replied. "They've been under Imperial control for 30 years. Saw our defense of Earth on leaked Imperial footage. They want the same protection." Their ship entered orbit around Blue Star, a world once rich with minerals, but now stripped almost bare by Imperial mining. The planet's surface showed deep scars from massive mining operations. "Captain, we're being hailed," Jack said. "It's the Resistance leader." A tired-looking man appeared on their screen. His face was covered in mining dust, but his eyes were bright with hope. "Earth vessel, thank you for coming. I'm Tom, leader of the Blue Star Resistance." "This is Captain Robert West of Earth," Robert replied. "We received your message. Tell us your situation." Tom's story was familiar. The Empire had promised prosperity but delivered slavery. The planet's people worked in dangerous mines, while Imperial ships carried away their resources. 2 days ago, something amazing happened," Tom continued. "The Imperial guards started leaving. They said Earth had done something impossible, stopped their best ships with some kind of new shield." Robert nodded. "We're here to help you protect your world, Tom. Earth is sharing its defense technology with any world that wants to be free." The meeting moved to an underground base where Resistance members gathered. Robert and Jack set up their teaching equipment, specially designed systems that would help planets build their own quantum shields. "The technology is complex," Jack explained to the group, "but we've made it simple to use. Once installed, the Empire's ships won't be able to enter your space without permission." "What do you want in return?" someone asked suspiciously. Robert smiled. "Just cooperation. Earth believes every world has the right to be free. We're building a network of independent planets. Together, we're stronger than the Empire." As they taught the Resistance members how to build and maintain the defensive systems, more messages arrived from other worlds. The Empire's grip was weakening as news spread of Earth's technology. "Imperial news channels are in chaos," Jack reported, checking their updates. 3 more worlds in the Centauri sector just declared independence. They're using our shield designs. The Empire's trying to stop the news from spreading," Tom added. "But they can't. Every mining ship, every trade vessel carries the story. Earth beat them. Earth is helping others beat them too." Robert watched as the Blue Star residents quickly learned the new technology. These people had been miners for generations. They understood complex machines. Within hours, they were already assembling their first shield generator. "Captain," Jack called out, "urgent message from Earth Command. The Empire's pulling ships from the outer regions. They're gathering a massive fleet." "Let them," Robert replied calmly. Every day they spend gathering ships is another day more worlds learn to defend themselves. Time is on our side. As they prepared to leave Blue Star, Tom approached their ship. Why did Earth wait so long to challenge them? You had this technology for years. Robert looked at the stars above. We needed to be ready. Not just with technology, but with a plan to help everyone. The Empire is strong because it keeps worlds isolated. We're making them strong by bringing them together. Their ship lifted off, cloaking system engage. Below them, Blue Star's first shield generator hummed to life, its quantum field spreading across the planet's atmosphere. Another world was free. Where to next, Captain? Jack asked, looking at their list of waiting worlds. Everywhere, Robert answered. The Empire's about to learn that the harder they squeeze, the more worlds slip through their fingers. The Shadow Runner disappeared into space, carrying hope to the next world in line. The ripple effect had begun, and not even the Empire could stop it now. Commander Lisa Gray stood before the United Earth Council as holographic displays showed trade routes across the galaxy. The Empire had finally launched its counterattack, not with ships and weapons, but with money and fear. They're trying to starve us out, Lisa explained, pointing to the blocked trade routes. The Empire has ordered all worlds to stop trading with Earth and our ally planets. Council leader Mike Brown frowned at the display. How are our allies holding up? Better than the Empire expected. Lisa smiled. That's why I called this meeting. We need to show them our next surprise. The room darkened as Lisa activated a new hologram showing Earth's hidden production facilities on Mars and Venus. For decades, Earth had built self-sufficient colonies and factories far from prying eyes. The Empire thinks blocking trade will force us to surrender, Lisa continued. They don't know that Earth hasn't needed outside resources for 20 years. The council members watched as data scrolled across their screens. Earth's secret economy was massive, hidden farms in underground Mars bases, automated factories in Venus's upper atmosphere, and asteroid mining operations throughout the solar system. But our allies need help, one council member pointed out. Exactly. Lisa pressed another button. That's why we're launching Operation Trading Chain. The hologram changed to show hundreds of small, fast ships. These are our new stealth traders. They can slip past Imperial blockades using the same technology that hides our defense systems. We'll help our allies trade with each other, making the Empire's economic attack useless. Just then, Officer David ran into the room. Commander, urgent news from our spies in the Imperial capital. The main screen lit up with images of chaos in Imperial cities. Markets were crashing as more worlds declared independence. The Empire's own economy was starting to crumble. It's working better than we planned, Lisa said. The Empire's wealthy worlds are panicking. They're pulling their money out of Imperial banks. Council Leader Brown leaned forward. What about the corruption data we discovered? Lisa nodded to David, who brought up more images. We leaked proof of Imperial officials stealing from their own treasury. Their people are angry. There are protests in 50 major Imperial cities. The council chamber filled with excited whispers. Earth's plan was working perfectly. The Empire was facing attacks it couldn't fight with ships or weapons. Message from the Imperial Palace, David announced. They want to negotiate. Lisa smiled. Typical. When force fails, they try to talk. Should we accept? No, Brown replied firmly. Not yet. Let them feel what it's like to be powerless for a while longer. Another alert flashed across the screens. More Imperial worlds were asking for Earth's shield technology. The Empire's grip on power was slipping faster every day. Commander, David called out again. The Imperial Trade Federation is collapsing. Member worlds are forming independent trade agreements with each other. Lisa walked to the main display, watching as trade routes were formed, bypassing Imperial control. They built their power on controlling others. Resources, trade, technology. Now that control is breaking down. And their response? Brown asked. They're trying to send police forces to stop the protests, David reported. But their ships can't reach any world protected by our shields. The Empire is losing control of its own territory. Lisa turned to face the Council. Phase 5 is complete. The Empire's economy is in chaos. Their people are rebelling. And every world they try to punish slips away to join us. Casualties? One council member asked. 0. Lisa replied proudly. Not a single shot fired. We're winning without destroying anything. That's why more worlds trust us than fear us. The council chamber grew quiet as they watched more updates pour in. The mighty empire that had threatened Earth just months ago was falling apart, not from weapons or war, but from the power of freedom and cooperation. Send word to our allies, Brown ordered. Full support for any world that breaks away from Imperial control. It's time to show the galaxy there's a better way than Empire. Lisa nodded, already planning the next phase. The Empire had expected Earth to fight with ships and soldiers. Instead, they were winning by helping others stand up for themselves. And this was just the beginning. The Imperial Palace shook as thousands of citizens gathered outside its golden gates. Inside, the Emperor watched in disbelief as his empire crumbled not from external attacks, but from within. On Earth, Admiral Stone and his team monitored the situation from the Global Command Center. Another Imperial fleet has surrendered, reported Officer Mark. That's the 5th one today. Their crews are requesting asylum on free worlds. Admiral Stone studied the massive display showing the galaxy map. Hundreds of green dots represented freed worlds, while the shrinking red areas showed Imperial control. The revolution was spreading faster than anyone had expected. Message from Captain Anna Green, Mark announced. Her refugee fleet has safely transported 10,000 Imperial military deserters to new homes on free worlds. The past month had seen the biggest military desertion in galactic history. As Imperial soldiers learned the truth about their government's corruption, entire fleets switched sides, joining Earth's growing alliance. Sir, called out Lieutenant Paul, monitoring communications, the inner core worlds are revolting. Imperial Palace guards are laying down their weapons. They're joining the protesters. Stone watched as live footage showed Imperial soldiers removing their helmets and standing with the citizens they were supposed to control. Years of careful planning by Earth had led to this moment. The Emperor is requesting direct communication, Paul reported, surprise in his voice. Stone straightened his uniform. Put him through. The Emperor's face appeared on screen, his usual confidence replaced by barely controlled panic. Admiral Stone, this madness must stop. You've turned our own people against us. No, Emperor, Stone replied calmly. We simply showed them the truth. Your people turned against you all by themselves. What do you want? The Emperor demanded. Resources, technology. Name your price. Stone shook his head. We don't want anything from you. The free worlds are forming their own alliance. Your empire is finished. Just then, new alerts flashed across the screens. The Imperial Senate had voted to dissolve the Empire's central government. Centuries of tyranny were ending not with a massive battle, but with a vote. Admiral, Mark called out excitedly. Imperial prime worlds are activating their shield systems, the ones we secretly provided to their resistance movements. The Empire can't even reach their own capital systems anymore. The Emperor's face showed shock as he received the same news. Impossible. The prime worlds were completely loyal. No world is loyal when its people are oppressed, Stone replied. Remember how you threatened Earth? How you thought we were weak because we chose peace. Look around you now. On the screens, they watched as Imperial flags came down across the galaxy. The revolution wasn't just military or political, it was a complete change in how worlds saw themselves and each other. Message from Dr. Ross, Paul reported. The last free worlds have received shield technology. The entire known galaxy is now protected from Imperial control. The Emperor's shoulders slumped in defeat. What happens now? Now, Stone said, you step down. Let your worlds be free. The age of empires is over. As they watched, the emperor walked out of his palace to face his people. There was no violence, no execution. The citizens simply watched as their former ruler surrendered to the new reality. "Sir," Mark said softly, "we're getting thank you messages from thousands of worlds. They're calling Earth the liberator of the galaxy." Stone smiled, thinking of the long years of preparation that had led to this moment. Earth hadn't won through superior firepower or brutal force. They had won by giving others the power to free themselves. "Send word to all fleet commanders," Stone ordered. "Operation Freedom is complete. Help any world that needs assistance establishing their new governments. But remember, we're helpers, not rulers." The command center erupted in cheers as the last Imperial symbols disappeared from the galaxy map. The revolution was over, one without a single shot fired in combat. "Admiral," Paul called out one last time, "the free worlds are requesting a conference. They want to discuss forming the new Galactic Council, with Earth as a founding member." Stone looked at the peaceful revolution they had helped create. "Tell them we'd be honored. But this time, all worlds meet as equals." The galaxy was entering a new age, and it had all started because one small planet had dared to say no to an empire. 1 year after the empire's fall, representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered at the newly built Galactic Council station, floating in neutral space. Earth had helped design this massive structure, where every world, no matter how small, would have an equal voice. Ambassador Thomas Reed and Admiral Stone stood together, watching ships arrive from across the galaxy. The station's great hall could hold representatives from every known civilization, its walls decorated with symbols of all member worlds. "Hard to believe it's only been a year," Reed said, adjusting his formal suit. "From banning an empire from Earth to helping create a new galactic civilization." Stone nodded, watching a group of former Imperial Worlds delegates talking peacefully with representatives from Outer Rim planets. The best victories are the ones where former enemies become friends. The first Grand Council meeting was about to begin. Unlike the Empire's dark throne room, this chamber was bright and open. A circular table meant no world could claim a position of power over others. "All representatives, please take your seats," announced Council Coordinator Mary Wilson. "The first session of the Free Worlds Council is about to begin." As the delegates settled, Reed took his place at the table. Earth had been offered a special leadership position, but had declined. They would sit as equals with all other worlds. "Before we begin," Reed stood to address the gathering. "Earth wants to make one thing clear. We helped create this council not to rule, but to ensure no one ever rules over others again." The chamber's displays lit up, showing the new Galactic Charter. Its first line read, "All worlds are born free, and shall remain free." The quantum shield technology that helped free us has been shared with every world. Stone added, "No fleet, no matter how powerful, can force their will on others anymore." A delegate from a former Imperial core world stood up. "What stops this council from becoming just another empire?" Reed smiled. "Look around this room. Every world has the power to defend itself. Every decision we make must be unanimous. No more forcing worlds to obey." The next hours were spent establishing the new galactic laws. Trade would be free and fair. Technology would be shared. Every world's space was their own, protected by their shields. No more empires would be allowed to form. Message from Mars Colony. An aide whispered to Stone. "The first joint scientific expedition is ready to launch. 20 worlds working together to explore the unknown regions." This was what Earth had fought for. Not just freedom from empire, but freedom to grow, to explore, to work together by choice rather than force. "The former emperor requests permission to speak," Mary announced, causing a stir in the chamber. On the main screen appeared the former ruler, now dressed in simple clothes. "I was wrong about Earth, about freedom. Our empire thought unity came from control. You've shown it comes from respect." Reed stood again. "The past is past. All worlds, even former imperial ones, are welcome in this new age. As equals, never as rulers. The council session continued, discussing plans for joint defense, trade routes, and scientific cooperation. Where the Empire had forced obedience, the new council encouraged voluntary partnership. Final item, Mary announced. The Border Marker Project. Stone activated a hologram showing the edges of known space. Every free world will have these markers at their system's edge. They're powered by our quantum shield technology. The markers displayed a simple message. You are entering free space. All peaceful travelers welcome. All empires forbidden. As the session ended, Reed and Stone watched delegates from former enemy worlds making plans together. Trade agreements, cultural exchanges, joint projects. Not bad for a primitive world that was supposed to surrender to the Empire. Reed smiled. We did better than ban an empire from Earth, Stone replied. We helped ban the very idea of empires from the galaxy. Outside the station's windows, ships from 1,000 worlds moved peacefully through space. The age of empires was over. The age of freedom had begun. And it all started because one small planet had dared to put up a sign. Earth bans Galactic Empire. Entry forbidden. Sometimes the biggest changes start with the smallest acts of defiance. Earth had not only defended itself, it had helped create something new. A galaxy where every world could stand tall and free. The end.